Why was there no Bolo put out for the SUV that left the Linda Lane parking lot at 4:23 a.m. on November 13, 2022? The only explanation for that is that the driver is a resident or was visiting a resident of the 500 Queen Road apartments and was already investigated by law enforcement. Because we know he walked from the direction of the Building B parking lot. That leaves two options. He came from either Building B or 1122 King Road, right? Here you can clearly see that he comes from the direction of the Building B parking lot. The yellow dot indicates the area between the buildings. So we know he didn't come from that way. In the video, you will see the lower light on the path, illuminating his face as he passes Building B. It appears like a flashlight, turning on and off. And the tiny light between buildings B and A, just below the yellow mark, flickers when he crosses in front of it. Let's take a look. We assume, from the perspective of law enforcement, that the driver of the Linda Lane SUV either lives in Building B or was visiting a resident of Building B. Why do we say that? There were 3 cars on Queen Road after 4 a.m. on November 13, 2022 that we know of. The DoorDash driver, the white Elantra, and the Linda Lane SUV. The DoorDash driver was interviewed by law enforcement. There was a Bolo put out on the white Elantra. But there was no Bolo put out for the Linda Lane SUV. And remember, the white Elantra was labeled Suspect Vehicle Number 1. So, what was the suspect vehicle number 2? That would be the Linda Lane SUV, correct? So, we have to assume that the Linda Lane SUV driver is already known to law enforcement, correct? That he is either a resident of the Queen Road apartments, or was visiting a resident of the Queen Road apartments, right? Because if the Linda Lane SUV driver isn't known by law enforcement at this point, and therefore, was never contacted or interviewed, that would be a travesty of justice, correct? Because there was never any Bolo put out to locate the vehicle or the driver. And the public is supposed to accept it as one big sheer coincidence, right? We don't think so. Thanks for viewing.